What's up, everybody? As you guys already know, we're going to be discussing the Massa Intermedia today. And if you take a look at the picture, the Massa Intermedia is directly in the middle of the thalamus. All right? And Massa Intermedia stands for Master Intermedium. So the Master Intermedium represents the mediator of the brain. So the mediator represents the thing that goes between the spiritual realm and the earthly realm, if that makes any sense. So as we look at the picture, we notice that it's in the middle of the thalamus. And it's also representing the pupil of the eye of Horus. Okay? And the pupil is what gives focus. If you think about the pupil, it's about focus. The pupil, by definition, represents a student as well. And we all are students. So the Master Intermedia represents the person that receives the message, the student that receives the understanding, all right, and delivers the message. So basically, the Master Intermedia, if you have me to tell it, holds the word of God if you're connected to it. All right. So now let's talk about what the Massa Intermedia is. The medical definition of Massa Intermedia is an apparently functionless mass of gray matter in the midline of the third ventricle that is found in many but not all human brains, and is formed when the surfaces of the thalami protruding inward from opposite sides of the third ventricle make contact and fuse. All right, so it says it makes contact and fuse. All right, so we know fuse means to join, blend, to form a single entity. Right, so it means join or blend to form a single entity. Now, some synonyms of fuse is unite and marry, right? And another definition is of groups of atoms or cellular structures join or coalescence or coalesce. All right. So now it's letting you know, first of all, that the Massa Intermedia is functionless. All right. According to them, they have no idea about what it does. All right. And it's not in all human brains. So how can something be in some human brains but not all human brains? And how can something in the brain, how can they not know what something in the brain does? So to me, either they're lying, whoever they are, or they really don't know what it is. And the ones that knows what it is are the ones that can use it, so to speak. And for me personally, I think the Massa Intermedia is the byproduct of the pineal gland activation. It's like once the pineal gland is activated or the third ventricle is activated, I think it's when the activation is the Massa Intermedia. The Massa Intermedia is what's being activated. And I think that the pineal gland and the pituitary gland causes this activation. All right. And so the thing about it is this: the Massa Media has a very important function in the brain, because anytime something fuses, something else results from that. They say the Massa Intermedia is an apparently functionless mass of gray matter in the midline of the third ventricle. All right, so first of all, when we say midline, we know that's dealing with balance. And we know in the Egyptian tradition and all that kind of stuff, that's dealing with ma'at and all that. So we know it's all about balance in order to have full control. So basically, they let you know that this thing is joining together and becoming one. So the thalamus or the thalami joins together and becomes one. Okay, so it's basically joining both sides of the brain together. All right, this is the fusion aspect. All right, and it says it's found, it says in the midline of the third ventricle that is found in many but not all brains, and is formed when the surfaces of the thalami, right, protrudes, means come together, inward from opposite sides of the third ventricle to make contact and fuse. All right? So this fusion, what's being fused is your thalamus, right? And so your thalamus once this fusion takes place, it can represent the golden egg. So I just want you guys to understand that the pineal gland is one part of the process, but what's actually being done is the Massa Intermedia is being activated, right? So it's the pineal gland, the pituitary gland activates the Massa Intermedia, which resides inside the thalamus, which is the chamber. And if you notice the picture at the top right-hand corner, it appears to look like angel wings. You know what I'm saying? So, or even a butterfly if you choose to look at it that way. But the thing about it is, it's all about the brain, because the brain controls everything else. And it's about the invisible entity of the brain. It's not the brain itself as you lean on your own understanding or whatever. But no, understand the process of how it works, where that you can become one with yourself, like bridging both sides of you together. So I just wanted to tell y'all about the Massa Intermedia. Peace.